Hi, welcome to Creative Edmo. If you're here for the first time, please subscribe to my channel. Today, we are going to discuss the poem Dust of Snow, composed by Robert Frost. Sometimes students say written by Robert Frost. Please remember, when we are talking about poems, we should say composed by Robert Frost, not written by. Okay? So let's begin. So here's the poem. The way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree, has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. This poem presents a moment that seems simple but has a larger significance. Significance means importance. Even though the poem is quite short, yet its meaning is quite deep. We will discuss all about its deeper meaning, themes of the poem, symbols and images used in the poem, and also the message of the poet. But first, let's understand the literal meaning, the simple meaning of this poem. Now, here are some notes for you. This poem is a short poem. It consists of 2 stanzas. Please remember that in a poem, we use the word stanza, not paragraph. Okay? And there are 4 lines in each stanza. Okay? The first stanza presents the description of the incident, whereas the second stanza tells us about the effect or the impact of that incident on the poet. Now please pay attention to the last word of the poem. See how this one word can convey so much. How significant is this one single word? And that word is rued. Rued means to regret bitterly or feel sorry for something. So this shows that the poet was in a sad mood. So we can say the poet was feeling sad, dejected, sullen, depressed, melancholic, gloomy. All these words mean that he was extremely sad and he was having a bad day. He had spent a part of his day feeling sad and gloomy. So in this mood, the poet happens to pass by a snow-laden hemlock tree. Snow-laden means heavily covered with snow. And what is hemlock tree? Here is a picture for your reference. It is a poisonous tree with small white flowers. This image of hemlock tree is very significant to the central theme of the poem. We will discuss about the deeper meaning of the poem in a while, where we will understand why the poet chose a poisonous hemlock tree to feature in his poem. It's a very important question which we will discuss shortly. Also, I have written all the answers to the important questions related to this poem, which you can find in the part 2 of this video. The link will be given in the end. So coming back to our poem. The poet happens to pass by a snow-laden tree. A crow was perched on it. Now, when we are talking about birds, we don't say the bird sat on the tree. We say it was perched on the tree. P-E-R-C-H, E-D for the past form. Now again, rather than choosing a sweet bird like nightingale, sparrow, the poet chooses an ugly bird like crow. Very important question. We will discuss about it shortly. Keep watching. First, let's simply understand the literal meaning. Then we will dig deeper into the figurative meaning of the poem, that is the deeper meaning. Now, when the snow falls, it is quite soft. This hemlock tree is covered by this soft, fresh snow. Now imagine you shake a branch of such a snow-laden tree. What will happen? Some snow will shake down or fall down, isn't it? So this crow made some movement or flew away, and because of that the branch shook, and as a result the soft snow falls on the poet who was passing by. So the poet refers to these tiny particles of snow as the dust of snow. Now try comparing it with the talcum powder, how it comes out of the bottle and creates a dust-like effect. So in the same way, The poet refers to the small particles of soft snow as the dust of snow. Please note that shook is the past form of shake. Shake, shook, shaken. Okay. So now this is the incident that occurs in the poem. Sometimes this question is asked in exams, describe the incident. So this is described in the first stanza. So let's read it. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. Now here are a few important notes about the first stanza. So in nutshell, we can say that the first stanza presents the setting of the poem. It paints a vivid picture of a winter landscape. That is, while reading the first stanza, you can easily visualize a snow-covered scene, a snow-laden hemlock tree with a crow perched on it and the poet passing by it, as it was shown in the first slide of this video. And the first stanza describes the incident that occurs in the poem. It tells us what happened. Now let's quickly discuss the rhyme scheme of this stanza. Let us understand how to identify the rhyme scheme of a poem. Rhyme scheme means how the words are rhyming in the poem. So crow rhymes with snow, so I label both these words as A. And me rhymes with tree, so I label them as B. So rhyme scheme comes out as AB, AB, or also known as the alternate rhyme scheme because the alternate words are rhyming. I hope it's clear. Now, let's understand the meaning of the second stanza also. Then we will take up the use of symbols, images and literary devices in the poem. Now, the rhyme scheme of this stanza is also AB, AB. Heart rhymes with part, mood with rude. Sometimes it is also written that the rhyme scheme of the entire poem, then it is AB, AB, CD, CD. Okay? Now, let's read this stanza. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. So this stanza is in continuation with the first stanza. In fact, you will notice that in the entire poem, there is no punctuation mark, no full stop, no comma. The poem begins and ends directly with the last word rued. The full stop comes after the word rued. Now, this particular literary device is known as enjambment. Here is the definition. It refers to the practice of running lines from one to the next without using any kind of punctuation marks, that is, comma, full stop, etc., to indicate a pause. So, this poem is an excellent example of enjambment. You may get a question like explain enjambment or explain how this poem is an excellent example of it. Okay. So let's get back to our second stanza. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Now what has given the poet a change of mood? The incident described in the first stanza. And what was that? The contact with Mother Nature in the form of soft snowflakes. This incident gave his heart a change of mood. Now, very important question, how nature has been presented in this poem. We will discuss this in a while. Let's finish the last two lines first. And saved some part. Now, what happened to the other part of the day? Now, what happened to the other part of the day? It was wasted because the poet was ruing. He was feeling depressed and regretting something bitterly. A part of his day got wasted in all this. But after this incident, that is, the snow falling on him from the hemlock tree changed his mood and saved the remaining part of the day that he had spent ruing. So how is it saved? Because now he is in a happy mood. So the remaining part of the day has been saved. Okay. So now a very important question, that there is a transformation or a change in poet's mood. How? Let's see. So here's how the transformation of poet's mood occurred. From sad to happy, from brooding melancholic state to a blissful state of mind. Blissful means full of joy, extremely happy. Melancholic means full of sadness. From hopeless to hopeful. Very important, please do remember. Now, this poem presents a moment that seems simple but has a larger significance. Significance means importance. Now, there's a quotation by Robert Frost. Always, always a larger significance. A little thing touches a larger thing. So, you may get a question regarding this. So, let's discuss. Obviously, the moment presented in the poem is so simple. A crow perched on the snow-laden hemlock tree flew away and resulted in snow falling down on the poet. Now, this simple contact with nature brings about a big positive change in poet's gloomy mood. So, nature provides a soothing touch, a healing touch, a comforting touch. It soothes his agitated mind and infuses his heart with joy and hope. Infuses means fills, and to soothe means to gently calm a person. Okay. So this is another important question, that how does Frost present nature in this poem? Now this brings us to another very important question, the images and the symbols used in the poem. So let's discuss that. This poem is replete with images from the world of nature. So you may get a question about it. Replete with means filled with or full of. Now symbols used by the poet in this poem are crow, hemlock tree, dust and snow. Now normally in poems we find sweet birds like nightingale because it evokes something positive in us. We associate it with joy, sweet melodious song, isn't it? Now what image comes to your mind when you think about the crow? Nothing pleasant, isn't it? Crow is considered ugly, inauspicious, bad omen, associated with death or bad news or misfortune, sadness, sorrow. Misfortune means bad luck. Hence, it's an unpleasant image. It has negative connotations. Now learn this word. The connotations of a particular word are the ideas or qualities which it makes you think of. So when we say crow has negative connotations, it means that the crow brings a negative image in our mind, something related to unpleasant thing. But this same crow becomes instrumental in bringing about a positive change in the poet's mood. Very important. Here is the meaning of the word instrumental. Someone or something that is instrumental in a process or event helps to make it happen. So, the crow becomes instrumental in bringing about a positive change in the poet's mood. Now, the next symbol, hemlock tree. It is again a negative image. Hemlock tree is a poisonous tree, so a deadly symbol, symbol of death. The poet could have chosen a beautiful tree like maple or oak or pine, but he deliberately chose hemlock tree because it has negative connotations. This unpleasant tree, symbolizing sorrow or death, becomes instrumental in making the poet happy, in making his melancholy disappear. So the way a crow shook down the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. So the poet is clear that his mood changed because of something that happened because of the crow perched on hemlock tree. This is the crux of the entire poem. Very important. I'll repeat. The poet is clear that his mood changed because of something that happened because of the crow perched on hemlock tree. So the poet wishes to convey that nothing in nature is ugly or inauspicious. Even the things we consider unlucky or ugly can make us happy. They can become instrumental in making our lives blissful. Crow and hemlock represent sorrow, but they bring joy to the poet. Extremely important line. Many questions can come based on this idea. The choice of sad images in the first stanza also reflects the mood that the poet was having. That is the sad, sorrowful mood. Okay, now let's come back to the representation of nature in the poem. So nature soothes poet's agitated mind and rejuvenates him. Rejuvenate means refresh or revive him. How taking a break from your studies rejuvenates you, isn't it? Same way. Now, often when we watch a sunrise or sunset or enjoy the sight of the rain, that smell of the earth when it rains for the first time in the season, all these things fill our heart with delight, isn't it? That's why people often take road trips to enjoy sightseeing or go to hill stations to enjoy the vacation. It's because nature has a calming effect. Being in the lap of nature makes us happy. Robert Frost takes this idea a step further. He wants to imply that it is not only the beautiful, glorious or pleasant aspects of nature that makes us happy. Even the seemingly unpleasant images like crow and hemlock tree can have the same effect. Now the next symbol is dust. When we think of the word dust, we imagine something dirty, something modest, not glamorous, something humble. The poet chooses this image deliberately. He could have said the shower of snow or the magic of snow or any other word that brought something positive to our minds. But he chose the word dust, the dust of snow. So this is in line with what we discussed just now, that the poet wants to convey that all aspects of nature are beautiful and can fill our hearts with joy and delight. Nothing in nature is ugly or unpleasant. So he chose the word dust. It also reflects his own sad mood. Now, snow is also used as a symbol. It signifies harshness, coldness, difficulties. Moving about in snow is difficult. It also symbolizes barrenness. Nothing grows in snow. So again, negative connotations. But the same snow became instrumental in bringing a positive change in poet's mood. So we can say that the dust of snow represents the joys that nature bestows upon us. At a deeper level, we can say that life is full of difficulties. We are surrounded by sorrows, as the poet was surrounded by crow and hemlock tree representing sorrows. But we can find joy amid that sorrow. Whatever we perceive as difficulties or problems may in fact be opportunities for us. So even the things or situations we call unpleasant may in fact lead to something pleasant. This is the message of the poem. When we spend time ruing about our misfortune, we should remember this lesson. Every cloud has a silver lining. Every despair has a hope. And every difficulty or problem may lead to a happy ending. So at a deeper level, this poem teaches us a very valuable lesson. Now let me quickly go through few things that I might have left out while explaining the poem. Now the literary devices, rhyme scheme and enjambment we already discussed, I have already told you. Now symbolism. It is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings that are different from their literal sense. We have already discussed these symbols used in the poem: crow, hemlock tree, dust of snow. How are the negative associations of these three symbols replaced by positive connotations? We have already discussed all this. In case you want written notes, please do subscribe and watch my next video where solved answers will be given. Next is alliteration. Alliteration is the use of the same letter or consonant sound at the beginning of the words that are close together. In the poem, alliteration examples are in the line, has given my heart. You can see that the H sound, her sound, is repeated. Then in the line, and saved some part, the sir sound. So this is the example of alliteration. Imagery. Imagery refers to the mental pictures or images which are evoked in the minds of the readers through words in a literary work. imagery makes a poem graphic and more appealing. We can visualize scenes through the use of images in the poem. For example, this poem is full of visual imagery of the winter landscape. We have already discussed it, that how the poet paints a vivid picture of a cold winter landscape using symbols associated with sorrow, representing his own mental state. So the imagery corresponds with the mental state of the poet. He was sad, dejected, melancholic. Remember, we discussed it. So I think we have covered almost everything. Now don't forget to watch my next video containing solved answers to all the important questions. Please subscribe and press the bell icon button. All the important questions will be covered in my next video. Short answer, long answer, MCQ and the summary too. Please do leave a comment and let me know if you understood the poem.
If this video helped you, please encourage us by liking and subscribing to our channel. Thank you.